Good morning, welcome back to my world of stuff. My name is this chap here. Hope you're all well. It's Good Friday as I'm recording this. It's about, I don't know, 11 o'clock-ish. I've lost track of time. I just thought I'd do a quick video. I'll try to get this one up by the end of the day if I can. Hope you're all well. I'm looking forward to your Easter break. I'm a little bit footsore this morning. I went to see Simple Minds in concert in Cardiff last night. A great time was had. One of my favourite bands from the 80s. Sort of a heritage act now rather than a competitive chart act, but fantastic back catalogue of great songs and a really charismatic lead singer with Jim Kerr, and I had a fantastic time. And considering that Jim Kerr is the same age as me, I'm not going to say what that age is, he dominated the stage for the better part of 3 hours with a short break in between. Amazing. So if you get the chance to go and see the Minds, I would say get out there and do it. Right, the video today is a video recommendation, in fact. This is a new video release by Reeltime Pictures. You may be familiar with Reeltime from their work on the Mythmakers series of releases that they did back in the 80s and 90s, where they would interview Doctor Who alumni going right back to the beginning of Doctor Who and record their memories of their careers and working on Doctor Who itself. Now, I've reviewed a number of their videos for Starburst magazine, and these are all historic videos. A lot of them go back more than 10, 15, 20 years. But a lot of the people that they interviewed are no longer with us. So what we have on these DVDs is really an essential and vital record of the life and times of people who are no longer with us, who worked on Doctor Who back in the early days. It's the only chance we have to see these people talking about the work they did on the series. And they're just a fascinating document about the making of a television series. The most recent release they've done is The Doctor's The John Pertwee Years, which I watched last week, which is very good. It's got interviews with Bob Baker and Dave Martin, Louis Marks, Dudley Simpson, people who aren't with us anymore but were fundamental in the creation of the legend of Doctor Who. But I'm particularly here to talk about a newer video which has just been released. It's called Doctor on Display, the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi. I'm doing this video because, one, it's a damn good video. Two, it's about a friend of mine. His name is Neil Cole. I say he's a friend of mine. He's a Facebook friend of mine. I've never met Neil. I'd love to meet him, and I'm hoping that I will get to meet him this year, because I'm hoping to travel right up north to his Museum of Sci-Fi. The documentary basically broadly looks at the fact that there have been, over the years, a number of Doctor Who exhibitions of costumes and props and things, most famously in Long Leighton, Blackpool in the 70s, then in Llangollen in the 80s when Doctor Who was off the air. And of course, more recently again, the Doctor Who Experience, which was based in Cardiff for many years until it sadly closed down a few years ago. At the moment, there is no proper Doctor Who exhibition, which I think is a tragedy, which I think is a terrible shame, because Doctor Who is such a unique property with a huge and vibrant history. I think it needs to be celebrated in that way, but Britain doesn't seem to be very good at sort of exploiting those sorts of things for entertainment purposes. But that's another issue. However, what we do have now is Neil Cole's Museum of Classic Sci-Fi, which is based up in, I believe it's it's in Allendale, which is up in towards the Lake District. It's way up north. I mean, it is, as it says in the video, it's off the beaten track. But what Neil has done, he's converted the huge cellar area underneath his home and created this Museum of Classic Science Fiction. We can't call it a Doctor Who museum, obviously, because it's BBC copyright, but it is a classic Museum of Classic Sci-Fi with a lot of Doctor Who exhibits from other shows and films. And Neil is, like most of us, a massive sci-fi nerd, and he wanted to create a lasting tribute to these shows and films that meant so much to him as a child. And this documentary, which is hosted by Sophie Aldred, who we know as Ace from Doctor Who, she sort of leads us through the history of the museum and how Neil put it together. I mean, I take my hat off to Neil, in fact, or anybody who can take on this sort of physical job of transforming this huge empty space into a museum that people can go to. And I admire the determination and dedication of people. It does amaze me, creative people who have that focus and that vision, that determination to get these things done. It's, if I had a hat, I would take it off to you, sir. He put a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and I dare say a lot of money into putting this thing together and gathering together props, original Doctor Who props, and bearing in mind that most of these things made in the 70s and 80s were just made to appear on television for 4 weeks. They made up very cheaply. We know the BBC's position with Doctor Who's budgets. They were made very cheaply with bits of foam and rubber. They weren't meant to live for 50 years. And he's managed to gather up these things which are in private collections and just left in garages to rot. And they have rotted. A lot of them have sort of crumbled because they're very brittle. And he's gone to enormous lengths to restore these things and make them presentable and make them displayable. And that's what the core of this feature is about, how Neil made this museum happen. And made it thrive in an area of the country. It benefits the area of the country he's in because it's a very remote little village and people come to the museum from all over. And of course, it benefits the economy of the village because people spend in the village. Famously, I think it even made the press. There was an issue a couple of years ago with a Dalek display, which he had housed outside the museum in a sort of a shed. And the local council decided they didn't like the shed. So the shed had to come down. The Daleks are still there, however. So the video gives you a look at the museum itself, how it all came together, the props that he's got, and as I said, the dedication that he has shown in putting all this stuff together. It's a fascinating video, it really is. It's 50 minutes. There's a 30-minute sort of raw footage thing of Neil gathering together some of the props and working on them. Hello, Rosie. But I highly recommend it, not just because I know Neil through Facebook. We will meet one day, Neil, I certainly hope so, because I'm sort of planning possible road trip up that way sometime in the summer, so keep your eyes peeled. But I'd love to visit this place. I mean, there's a museum in sort of Shropshire way, I think, called the Time Machine Museum, which I went to last summer, which is very good. But I think this has got the edge on it. So if you want to get your hands on this video, it's called Doctor on Display. There's the back details if you want to have a little look. Allendale, yeah. I think I might have said Allenbrook, but it's Allendale. Such a pleb when it comes to geography. Yeah, so if you want to have a look at the video, I'll put a link in the description about Reeltime Pictures where you can get it from. It's well worth a look, as indeed are all Reeltime's pictures if you want videos that give you an overview of the making of Doctor Who, but the people who were there aren't with us anymore. Right, hope you've enjoyed this little video. Enjoy your Easter. There is more stuff on the way. Of course, Doctor Who is back on Sunday. There'll be a review of that. In the meantime, tomorrow I'm off on a little adventure, a little road trip. Saturday I'm heading to Birmingham, so I might do a vlog if I can. It depends on how much footage I can reasonably get. I'm going up to see a celebration concert of the music of Jerry Anderson and his TV shows. This is a concert that's been put together by his son Jamie, celebrating the music with a full orchestra. I just decided this year to go and see things live. I'm not a massive one for live shows and things, but I've done quite a few this year so far. Things that I like: comedy shows, music shows, things with connections back to the past. I'm not exactly saying it's going to be like a victory lap type thing, because I'm not expecting to keel over in the next few months, but there's things going on which sort of speak to me about my past, and I think I just want to revisit these things, while the opportunity's there. So I'm going up to Birmingham on Saturday and back on Sunday, so I'll try and do a little vlog, put that together. I don't suppose I'll be able to record in the concert, but if I can get you a feeling of the atmosphere of the occasion, then I will do so. Right, I'm away. Enjoy your Good Friday. I will speak to you very soon. Until I do, yeah, keep taking the stuff.